You've seen me make a bowl with a table saw. People didn't really like that one. You've seen me make a bowl with the miter saw. People seem to like that one a little bit more. Today, I'm gonna make a bowl with only a hand router. Let's go. Recently, I bought the 3-pack of bowl routing bits. It came with a 1/2 inch, a 3/4 inch, and a 1 1/8 inch bit. These are what we're gonna be using for the majority of the bowl. We're also gonna be using one small straight bit, and that's what we're gonna be using to actually cut the circle. You're also gonna need a drill and a jigsaw. You'll see why. So right now we're just cutting off a blank from this cherry board we had. We're cutting a piece that's 9 inches wide, 9 inches long, and the whole board is 8/4 thick, so 2 inches thick. I don't know why they do that, the whole quarter thing. It's 2 inches. So this is what you're left with, 9 by 9, 2 inches thick. So what we're gonna do now is find the center. To do that, you're gonna line a straight edge up to each of the 2 corners on opposite sides. Make a line right there in the middle, and then do the opposite 2 sides and make a line in the middle. That is your center. So next, what we're gonna do is make the circle on the bowl. So what we need is a bigger base plate for our router. So all the routers come with a small one like this. Most people have a bigger plate like this, but it's made out of plexiglass. Now, I like to use this 1/4 inch ply because this is not only gonna help me when I'm cutting out the middle of the bowl, but I'm also gonna be able to use this 1/4 inch ply while making the circle. If you have an acrylic one or a plexiglass one, you might not want to drill a hole in it. We will be drilling a hole in this one, so you can go ahead and make yourself, I'm having a really tough time with these screws, man. You can go ahead and make yourself one out of plywood. It's pretty easy and it's not too expensive. So we're gonna go ahead and put our straight bit on first. And now put your collar back on. You've got that sacrificial base plate and we've got that straight bit in there. Now what we're gonna do, set this down and have your bit up a little bit. And we're gonna go just from any side, it doesn't matter. Put a ruler up against the bit and you're gonna measure 4 1/4 inches and then you're gonna make a mark. Now we're gonna use a 1/16 inch drill bit and drill right through that mark. Then go over to your piece and you're gonna wanna drill down like 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't have to be that much. Probably 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, and right in the center there. Now we're gonna raise the base plate up so the router bit is only showing by like 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch. Now I've got a tiny little nail, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it through the top part of my base plate right there, all the way. Now you're gonna line that nail up to that hole right there in the center, and then you're gonna pound that thing in. Oh, oh, whoa, whoa. Now you've made yourself a little circle jig. So when you slide it on there, I've got the bit down a little bit, but I'll show you. You can see that line that I'm kind of carving in there right now with the bit. That is exactly where this is gonna cut. So put it down about 1/8 inch, make a full rotation, put it down another 1/8 inch, make another full rotation. You're gonna do that till you get about 1 inch, 1.5 inches deep. It really depends on how far your straight bit can go, but just go ahead, go all the way around a few times, get at least 3/4 inches down, and then we'll move on to the next step. We realized our bit's only 5/8 inches long, so it can't get through the whole thing. That's no problem. We'll probably have to end up going with a jigsaw later to cut off all these chunks, but that doesn't matter right now. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna create a rim. So we're gonna do another circle, just a little bit smaller, right here. So we want our rim to be about 1/2 inch thick, and since our original measurement from the middle to the end was 4 1/4, we're gonna take 3/4 of an inch off of that original measurement, which is gonna give us 3.5 inches. So go ahead, center it up, make your mark at 3.5, which will be 3/4 less than that 4 1/4. Why are we doing that? Well, because our bit has width, and our bit cuts a little bit bigger than 1/8 inch. It probably cuts 3/16 of an inch or something like that. So it's not a perfect science. It's not gonna be exactly a 1/2 inch rim, but it'll be pretty dang close. And that's all we're going for. Now do the same process. Drill your hole, bang our nail through, and then line it up to center again. All right, go ahead, repeat that same process that we did before. I won't bore you with it, so just go ahead and do that again. All right, now we got the 1/2 inch bull bit on our router, but what we need to do first is raise it up so there's only about 1/8 inch showing. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna freehand this. So we just need to take off a little bit off this whole top layer, just a little bit, enough so then we've got it deep enough that this collar can be in use. Because right now, if we went ahead and we plunged it in, our collar would hit up against the bull side, but it would also hit up against the material that we're trying to take out. So if you've got a drill press, you can go ahead and drill all this middle stuff out. It'll make it way easier for you, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do it with just the router. See how long it takes. So I'm being really careful here. You saw that the router bit can't cut any less deep, so we're cutting about 1/4 inch of wood right now, which I don't love because the router bit is having a rough time. It's bouncing around. I'm keeping my fingers in front of the router base to make sure that it doesn't jump around too much and cut into the rim of my bowl. Probably not the safest thing in the world, but it got the job done and I didn't end up cutting into my rim, so that was good. But once I got that whole thing surfaced down, so it's 1/4 inch less, then we can go ahead and use the collar. All right, so here we have it so far. We surfaced it down about 1/4 inch. Looks pretty rough, but it kind of looks cool. It kind of looks like a topographical map. Speaking of topographical maps, you can win your own. If you go check out our last video, there's a giveaway and it's live till Tuesday. So go watch that and join that. Now we're gonna go ahead and put our big base plate back on the router. We're gonna put this into the middle of our board and we're gonna slowly lower that bit deeper and deeper, cutting deeper and deeper until we've got that collar exposed. Then that collar can ride along the side of our bowl and it won't be cutting into there, and then we can just surface all this stuff down. All right, let me talk you through my mistake here. You should know that most of the videos we do, we have an idea, we try to do it, and it's the first time we've ever done it is on camera. So this is our first time ever doing this, and here's our mistake. Our bit is way too big. It's 1/2 inch away from the collar, meaning what I did was I drilled 1/2 inch down, plunged my router. It's not a plunge router, but I plunged it. And basically, we would need to take off this much material every time we move that router in order to have the collar sit against the bowl rim. It's just not reasonable. So it is still gonna be majority with a router, but we're gonna drill out the middle because that's what we have to do. Never fear though, the end product's gonna be sick. We're gonna use a 1-inch Forstner bit, get most of the material off, then we'll come back with the router and make it all nice and pretty and clean and amazing and not this. I'm just gonna drill down until the bit is flush with our piece right here. That should be enough material taken off to then go at it with the hand router. All right, so now we've got a bunch of that material taken out and we can take our router. I ended up moving up to a 1.5 inch bit just to get a little bit more out. But these little things in the middle, those are pretty easy. You can just go ahead and knock them down with the chisel. But now there should be enough taken out so we can take our router, expose that collar, and just go ahead and go to town on it. We've been working up to this point for so long. All right, this is my first pass. Looks pretty good, a little bit rough, but that's to be expected. So now we're gonna go ahead, put this big old bit on there because now it is deep enough for that collar to touch, and this will make this whole process way quicker. I feel like this bit is like too big for this router. Like, I don't know if this is like made for this. I mean, it's the same size shaft, but.
Yobi.
Dang. All right, this is what she looks like now. Second pass, way better, way more smooth. Still got that there from our earlier mishap. We're gonna put that down, 1/4 inch more, keep going. We'll probably do 3 or 4 more passes, get this down to about 1.5 inches deep. Then we'll come back to you, get these sides cut off with a jigsaw, sand it up, and we'll be done. All right, here it is. We ended up doing 5 or 6 more passes, and it is 1.25 inches deep. So now we gotta get this side off. So that's pretty straightforward. Grab your jigsaw, cut on the outside of this line. Then we're gonna go ahead and get that side straightened out with the flush trim bit on the router. Now we'll do a round over on the bottom of the bowl to match that round on the inside, and then we'll sand it, stain it, and be done. All right, so here it is. I also went ahead and put a little round over on the inside edge there and the outside edge there. I just think it looks a little bit better. Whole lot of sanding to do now. Start at 120, 220, 320. You get the drill. So let's sand. Guys, while I'm sanding, I want to give a quick shout out to My Honey's Handmade. Steve over at My Honey's Handmade knows how to make a bowl. He makes bowls on the lathe all the time. I've checked out a couple of his live streams. He's making some awesome stuff over there at My Honey's Handmade. So we'll leave his channel in the description. Make sure you go check him out because he can make one heck of a bowl. So go check out Steve at My Honey's Handmade. Now back to whatever I'm doing in this video. All right, we sent it up to 320. It looks great. We're gonna use some Howard cutting board oil just to make this thing food safe. Make it pop. Shout out to Howard. All right, we now have a bowl made on the table saw, on the miter saw, and with the hand router. There it is. All bowls, all cherry. We did the cherry thing for a reason. Not sure if you picked that up. So here's the router bowl, the one today's video is all about. If you want to check out the table saw and miter saw bowl, we'll leave those in the description, but this is my favorite. I really like this. Comment down below what other tool we should use to make a bowl. I think a lathe might be a good call.
Could use a lathe.
Could do a lathe, but we'll do some other stuff before a lathe. Jigsaw? Could we make one with just a jigsaw?
Brad nailer?
We made a bowl with just a brad nailer. All right, guys, we gotta go get dinner. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out My Honey's Handmade, link in the description. Check out last Tuesday's video for the giveaway. Goodbye. Guys, if you like that video, click right here to see how I made it on the table saw, and click right here to see how I made it on the miter saw.